Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you guys are well. Smash the like button on the video. Hit the like button, as you guys know. Hit the subscribe button. Let's see if we can get this video to 150 likes. Guys, Bernard Hopkins has made an interesting point about Saul Canelo Alvarez. He's basically come out and said that he feels that Canelo Alvarez would destroy everybody at 175, sweep everybody at 175, and he can even compete at cruiserweight. What do I make of Bernard Hopkins? Bernard Hopkins is a guy that he's not afraid to, say his mind. And a lot of these fighters aren't, to be honest. A lot of these fighters can, at times go overboard. Hopkins, obviously, I feel, although, the stuff with De La Hoya and, him, Canelo breaking away, I feel like Bernard Hopkins still is hugely admires Canelo Alvarez massively, whereas I think the beef between Canelo and Oscar obviously has got deeper. But I think Canelo has a lot of respect for Bernard Hopkins, and I think Bernard Hopkins also admirably, he's in admiration of Canelo. And listen, Canelo, everyone's in admiration of Canelo, what he's done recently. But I think that would be some statement. I don't personally think I think he beats everyone at 175. I think the test is against Beterbiev. Some people think Bivol beats Canelo, but I don't see it. I think Beterbiev is a very, very dangerous fight. But I've been watching some of Beterbiev's highlight. He's a good fighter, don't get me wrong, but he's really slow. He is really slow. And Canelo could definitely take advantage of that. And one thing we know about Beterbiev is he can go down. He can be hit and hurt. There is a question mark around the whiskers, around the chin. But he's a very big and strong guy. I think he beats everyone at light heavyweight. And I do think he could win a title at cruiserweight. I think he could beat Makabu. I know people may say it's a step too far. I do think if he was to fight a Coley or Bradis, I think he gets beat, possibly. I think those guys may be too big. When you think about someone like Joe Calzaghe, who's a natural super middleweight, and this is the kind of boundaries that Canelo's breaking right now. Canelo's going up, Canelo's beating guys that are way bigger than him. If he goes and cleans out light heavyweight and then goes up to cruiserweight, we're talking about a top 10 great fighter of all time. That would be unbelievable if he goes and wins a world title at cruiserweight. He can't compete. In my opinion, and you guys may disagree, Canelo Alvarez can't compete with the big cruiserweights. He cannot. I just can't see him competing with Coley. That's just too big. 6'5", 6'6", and Coley's a heavyweight. Brady's a big dude, 6'3", and people were talking about Usyk coming down. Usyk is a big dude. Seeing the size of Usyk. People say he's a small, this guy's massive. He's basically what Ali was as a heavyweight back in the day. He is massive. He's 6'3", Usyk. And he's huge. Whenever I looked at Usyk, even as a cruiserweight, he looked massive. I just don't think Canelo would be big enough physically against those guys. Those guys are massive. I actually think cruiserweight would be a step too far. And you know what? Carl Frampton made a comment that he actually thinks that Canelo has a better chance of beating Bradis than he does Beterbiev. And I totally disagree because those guys at cruiserweight are massive. They're huge. Beterbiev, as strong and physically strong as he is, he's not that big. Especially in comparison to the cruiserweights. If you were to put Beterbiev in there with a Coley, it'd be like a giant. It would be, Coley would look like a giant compared to Beterbiev. So, and Beterbiev's bigger. Beterbiev's around 6 foot. Beterbiev's around my height. So, and Canelo's what, 5'7", 5'8"? So imagine him fighting a Coley, a 6'5" guy. That would be, that's too much, man. That's too much. So I don't know whether he can compete at cruiserweight. Can he compete at cruiserweight against the best? And we all know Canelo is not going to go up to cruiserweight to compete against, the lower level fighters. He's going to want to compete against the best. I just think cruiserweight might be a step too far. I do think that if there's somebody that he thinks he can beat at cruiserweight and they're champion, I won't be surprised if he goes and fights at cruiserweight. But the weight and size difference would definitely come into play in that weight class. It's just not, he's human at the end of the day. There's no way that a guy that was fighting at 154 can go to. I know. Roy Jones did it, but Roy Jones was a completely different fighter to Canelo Alvarez. Roy Jones was very athletically gifted, and he was very fast of hands and fast of feet, a lot faster than Canelo hands and hand speed. Canelo is a different fighter. Canelo likes to use his physicality. He can box and move, but he likes to use his physicality. Canelo's not the type of guy where he's gonna box and move, and he doesn't fight like that. So and although Canelo's got one of the great, and Canelo could move up because Canelo's got a great chin, but there'll come a point where even that great iron chin of Canelo's wouldn't help him at weight like cruiserweight. Like if a cruiserweight lands a huge punch on Canelo, right, there's a chance Canelo could get knocked out because, like I said, it doesn't matter how tough you are and how great your chin is, there's only so much you can take from such a bigger guy. You may have a great chin. That doesn't mean you can go and beat a bear. You could go and fight a grizzly bear and the bear won't knock you out. It's the same thing. It's like these guys are massive at cruiserweight. Like, it would be very, very dangerous. So, as big a fan I am of Canelo, I just don't know whether he would be able to beat like the best at cruiserweight. I think they're too big. I think at light heavyweight, I would favor him to beat those guys. I do agree with Bernard Hopkins. I don't agree that he would sweep everybody at 175 in the sense that he would just destroy them the way Bernard Hopkins was saying. And at cruiserweight, it depends who he's fighting. If he's fighting a Lungu Makabu, I believe he could beat Makabu. If you're talking about Canelo going up and fighting Coley, fighting Bradis, then no. Or Usyk coming down and fighting Canelo at cruiserweight, no. I don't think he could win those fights. That's just my honest opinion. And I'm a big Canelo fan, as you guys know. I've just got to be honest. I can't see him beating a Bradis. So Bernard Hopkins, although Bernard Hopkins makes a good point about 175, although I disagree with, I disagree with the fact that I agree with him that, yes, he can compete at cruiserweight against the right guy. So, for example, if it's a guy that's maybe past his best and is a champion or a guy that's not as big a cruiserweight, do I believe Canelo can go up and beat them? Yes. Like Makabu. I believe Canelo can beat Makabu. But do I think Canelo can go up and beat a Bradis or beat the best in that division? No. I don't think he could beat Bradis, and I think he wouldn't beat Coley. I think he could beat Makabu, though. Do I think Canelo Alvarez would destroy everybody at 175? No, not destroy, but I would favor him to beat everybody at 175. I think he beats Beterbiev. I think he beats Bivol. I think he beats Joe Smith. And I think he beats everybody else at 175 for that matter. But again, Beterbiev is a very, very dangerous fight for me because I've said to you guys, and I've been consistent, that there's a style that can give Canelo trouble. And I believe Beterbiev's style is that style. However, Canelo might be too smart. He may be too skilled. He may be too good for Beterbiev. There is a possibility of that. But again, Beterbiev is a very, very strong guy. And he's a big light heavyweight. And he would have a lot of physical advantages over Canelo from a physicality point of view. So that would be a very, very interesting fight. But Bernard might be right. He may destroy everybody at 175. He may have to go up to cruiserweight. He may have to go up to cruiserweight if he wants to become a 5-division world champion. I believe he can. I believe he can become a 5-division world champion. I just don't know whether he can compete with the best at that weight. Can he compete with the best? Could he compete with Bradis? What do you guys think? I want to know your opinion. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts. Does Canelo beat Bradis? Would Canelo beat Usyk if Usyk was to come down to cruiserweight? I don't know if you guys have heard of Lawrence Okoli. He's also a champion. Do you think Canelo could beat Lawrence Okoli? If you've seen much of Lawrence Okoli, do you think he could beat Lawrence Okoli? A 6'5", 6'6" guy. That's almost a foot bigger than Canelo. He'll be almost a foot bigger. You know, that would be a significant size difference. Significant size difference. Um, I'd love to know your opinions, guys. Is Bernard Hopkins, is what Bernard Hopkins saying the truth? Do you think he beats, destroys everybody at 175 and he can compete at cruiser? Or is it a case that cruiserweight would be a step too far, but he could definitely beat all of the guys at 175? What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to know your opinion. Love to know your opinion, guys. Leave your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.